There's a reason that some people get insanely shredded while most others stay pudgy and soft, and the latter used to be me. I was frustrated with how I saw myself in the mirror, wondering why I couldn't lose that last layer of fat, until I discovered these 5 food hacks that took me from soft and squishy to getting shredded 3 times faster. And these same hacks have worked for thousands of my students. So let's get started with the first tip, and it might actually surprise you, because that tip is to eat more food. But Kevin, how is eating more gonna get me shredded? Well, it's kind of like that ant nest in Solo Leveling, season 2. In that scene, they had to send in tons of hunters to try to get the job done. And they were sending in elite dudes. Imagine if they were sending in like A rank or C rank guys. Regardless if they were even skilled, powerful, or had much experience in the first place, they still couldn't break through, no matter how many soldiers they could have added to that fight. And then your boy Sung Jin Woo pulls up and let me tell you, he wrecks face. With the right weapons and the right build, he cleans up what an entire squad of elite hunters could not do. What the elite hunters brought in quantity, Sung Jin Woo brought in quality. Your body is going to work a very similar way when it comes to food. See, there are really 2 types of foods that you should be concerning yourself with. One is elite, nutrient-dense foods, and food that just wastes your stomach real estate. If you're eating cookies, chips, and pizza all damn day long, sure, your body's getting some calories, a lot of calories, but it's missing vital nutrients. So it keeps sending hunger signals to your brain saying, hey, we need to eat more. And you end up overeating on unnecessary junk and feeling unsatisfied. But if you were to swap out those foods with whole, nutrient-dense foods like steak, eggs, fruits, vegetables, your body gets what it actually needs without having to consume a buttload of food. Hunger signals quiet down naturally, and you end up eating less calories overall without even trying. Some of my students even notice something interesting too. They say, yeah, I don't eat that much food, but I'm still fat. What gives? And then I ask them, oh, well, what does your diet look like? And then they tell me all of the junk food that they consume. The moment that I prescribe them a whole food diet, they actually start eating more food than before when they were on their junk diet. Some of them realize, damn, I can't eat that much food to even meet my calorie deficit goals because they're feeling so much more satiated. And this is the key insight here. Your body doesn't get hungry because it needs more calories. It gets hungry because it's just missing that vital nutrients. So the first food hack is simple. Eat more of the right foods. If you focus on nutrient-dense, low-calorie dense foods, things like lean ground beef, chicken breast, egg whites, fruits, vegetables, you're gonna fill up your stomach with more of what your body needs. You'll be able to stay in a calorie deficit with very little effort, and your body is going to stop begging you for more. Now, this next hack is something that everybody needs to hear right now. Listen, look me in the eyes and listen to me, because your body is way easier to fool than you think. And it works something like in Death Note. Imagine your body is L, the world's greatest detective, and your hunger signals, which are the bane of our existence, is Kira. L constantly trying to figure out Kira. What makes him tick? When does he strike? What does he actually want? But L just keeps getting finessed and swiped by Light every single time. Like he's about to get close and then suddenly Light does some big brain move and then L is like, oh, what the hell happened? And even near the end of his life, he got completely fooled to thinking that Light was innocent. Your body is doing the exact same confusing moves when it comes to hunger. There are signals in your body that your brain can mistake for hunger signals. When that happens, you start actually craving foods even when you're not hungry. And that right there is what is silently keeping you from getting shredded. One of the biggest false signals that your body makes is dehydration. When you're lacking water, your body's like, hey, I need something over here. And your brain reads it as like, hey, I'm gonna get you something over there. And then it makes you start to eat food. But when you are properly hydrated, your body's signals stay accurate. Like L finally finding the real Kira. Unfortunately, that was the last thing he ever thought. Bro really took an L. Rest in peace, my guy. Not only that, but when you drink more water, you're filling your stomach space with more volume. And that is going to physically suppress your appetite. And you're sending real satiation signals to your brain, making sure that it is not confused. So here's what you need to do. Have a water bottle with you at all times. Set yourself some reminders or some daily goals for hydration, or just get one of those fancy little drink hats that drip feed water down your gullet so that you'll never forget to stay hydrated ever again. Now, your body can also mistake another deficiency for hunger, and that's a deficiency in salt. And without salt, your body is never going to get the proper hydration it needs. Since to be properly hydrated, you need the right balance of electrolytes and fluid. And then when your body is properly hydrated, not only does it help you getting you shredded, your face is going to look less bloated, your energy for your workouts is better, so better anime gains, and your focus is a lot sharper. Essentially, it is the anime glow up enhancer, which is why the sponsor of today's video, Element, comes in super duper handy. Element has zero sugar, no weird junk, and a science-backed formula of sodium, potassium, and magnesium. See, I personally drink Element pretty much every single day, and without it, I don't feel as focused and I don't feel as energized. And they just dropped their new caffeinated version, Lemonade Iced Tea. Spiffing. Now, what makes this different from just drinking coffee or a random energy drink is that this caffeine comes from naturally occurring black tea extract, and it's not isolated caffeine. So you get none of the spike and crash when you just down a couple Red Bulls or something. Plus, it contains things like L-theanine and polyphenols for antioxidants, and it's all based on the same Element electrolyte base. They literally put it on the front of the box so you never forget. So you're getting proper hydration and proper energy. Now, I personally don't drink that much coffee, but when I do, I've experienced a lot more crashes than I have sustainable energy. But after drinking this new flavor for a few days, my energy levels have been very stable, and it's far more convenient than boiling a bunch of water to make regular black tea. Right now, you can get a free sample pack of Element's most popular flavors with your first purchase if you use the link drinkelement.com/KevinZhang. And if you don't like what you bought for whatever reason, they will just give you your money back and you don't even have to return it. Again, that is drinklmnt.com/KevinZhang, or click the link in the description to get your free sample pack with your first purchase. Now, this next hack is one of the most useful things that I've ever given to my students. And it's specifically for the guys who struggle to get their protein in, which is most of you, and they also struggle to manage their calories, which is also most of you. First off, here's the mistake that I see every single person make. Imagine your daily calories are like a meter that you have to fill up by the end of the day. And let's say, for the sake of this example, you're trying to be on a calorie deficit, so not trying to go over that calorie limit. Most people, they're gonna start their day with a little bit of protein, whether it's eggs or something, a good chunk of carbs, some fats, and that could look like some cereal, a breakfast sandwich, some fruit. Not too bad so far. But then lunch hits, and then they do the same thing. Some protein, some carbs, some fats. I see people eat sandwiches with a little slices of ham, pasta with chunks of meat in there. But as that meter starts to fill up with those foods, you start to see the problem here. The meter now is like 70% full, and their protein level is nowhere near where it needs to be. And then by dinner, they do the same thing. They've hit their calorie limit, but they haven't hit their protein goal. And they can't eat more because they don't want to go over their calories, but they want to eat the protein because muscle. So they either go to sleep under-proteined or overeaten, wondering why they're not building muscle or not losing fat. But now imagine flipping the whole thing. What if instead we decided to just fill the meter with protein first? You hit your protein target, then fill whatever calories are left with the fats, carbs, or whatever else you need. Fruit, cake, ice cream, pizza, your newborn son. I don't judge. When you use this method, your protein is always guaranteed. This hack, it's called macro fasting. You prioritize hitting your protein at the start of the day as soon as possible over everything else. Then you spend the rest of your calories however you like. And here's why it works so well. 1, you always hit your protein no matter what. 2, protein is lower in calories than carbs and fats, so calorie management actually becomes easier. 3, protein is incredibly satiating, meaning you don't have to eat that much by the end of the day. And 4, you got total freedom for your calories. But if you're following this video to a T, it's gonna be whole foods. It's one of the simplest yet most effective hacks that you can do to hit your protein and manage your calories. But this next hack is actually based off of a mistake that I've made over and over when I was trying to get insanely shredded. Back then, I would go into like a 500 calorie deficit. I'm fully locked in, motivated, ready to get those abs. First 2 weeks, machine. Being disciplined, tracking everything, eating everything I was supposed to. I was a very good boy. And then the 3rd week hit. Oh man. And suddenly I'm standing in front of the fridge at 11 p.m. like it owes me something. And I'd end up sneaking an extra 200, 300. Sometimes I would even go past that. Next thing you know, the scale is barely moving. I'm confused, frustrated, and my belly still sticking out like a sore thumb. So that got me thinking though. First 2 weeks, I was locked in and loaded. So what if I use that initial motivation to my advantage? What if instead I pushed harder in the first 2 weeks while motivation is absolutely peak? Then once that hard part is done, ease back into a more moderate deficit. So I tried it. And then after the 2 weeks, when I added those calories back, something unexpected happened. It didn't really feel like a restriction anymore. It just felt like I was eating more food. Because what happened was when my body got adapted to the more restrictive caloric deficit, so adding back in calories just felt like a feast, even though I was still losing fat. And that's the hack. That it's as simple as it gets. I call it delayed calorification. For the first 2 weeks, you want to aim to lose about 1% of your current body weight per week. So if you're about 200 pounds, that would be 2 pounds per week, which is about 1,000 calorie deficit. Your motivation is high, your hunger tolerance is the best it can be, and it's only gonna last 2 weeks. And if that's too scary for you, you can always try for 1 week. Your body will adapt to eating less, so the new amount in week 3 genuinely feels like it's more food. And this is one of the hacks that made the whole cutting process a lot less miserable. But this last hack is one of the most proven and effective ways to get shredded faster, because it's one that the Japanese have been using for centuries. And of course, as weebs, we love to obsess over the Japanese. Some of us a little too much. Think about how you eat right now. You probably keep going until you're full. A normal human response. Maybe sometimes you push a little past that. A normal me response. The problem is that your brain takes 15 to 20 minutes to actually catch up to your stomach. So by the time the I'm full signal lands, you've already overeaten. The fix is harahachibu. Harahachibu literally means eat until 80% fullness. It might mean that. I don't know Japanese, so I could be wrong. When you have that philosophy in your head of I'm only gonna eat till 80%, it allows you to get shredded and stay in a deficit without trying. The best way to do that is to eat slowly. After a few bites, just pause and ask yourself, if I stopped eating right now, would I be okay until my next meal or until I go to bed? If the answer is yes, stop eating. If the answer is no, wait maybe 10-15 minutes and then come back to the question. If the answer is still no, keep eating, ask again, and then eventually you'll know what 80% feels like. It doesn't sound like much, but doing this consistently puts you in a slight caloric deficit at every single meal, without the tracking, without the counting, and without the suffering. Over days, weeks, and months, it stacks up enormously. Fun fact, Okinawa, Japan is one of the regions that practices harahachibu the most, and they have some of the longest lifespans and lowest obesity rates in the world. Now, while these 5 food hacks will genuinely change how you approach eating, food is only half of the equation to get shredded and get that anime physique. Because no matter how dialed in your food is, it means nothing if your training isn't pulling its weight too. So click here if you want the exact techniques that help me build my anime physique 3 times faster.